Take a look at the view count on this video. I'm gonna predict the view count on this video is much higher than the average for my channel. How do I know this? At the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly how I know and how you can predict your own success with amazing accuracy as well. But first, let me try and show you and let's see if you can figure it out. You see, success takes way more effort than you probably think it does.
I know they tell you that 80% of success is just showing up, but what they don't tell you, you have to show up at 4 a.m. Oh, and you have to do it every damn day.
The single biggest reason why you're probably not achieving your goals right now is probably because you're vastly underestimating the amount of work required to achieve them. But don't worry, it's not your fault. No one told you the amount of work that's actually required, but I'm about to. The second biggest reason, you probably haven't even really clearly defined a goal, but don't worry. We'll get to that. Just stick with me.
Do you know how many practice shots Kobe Bryant took every day before practice? How about how many prototypes Dyson made before he invented the first bagless vacuum? We'll find out the answers to both of those questions and a whole lot more as we dissect what it actually takes to create success. We tend to way underestimate not only how long something will take, but the amount of work required to produce a high quality result. I already talked about this YouTube video, but I'm quite confident that the amount of work required to create this video is probably a lot more than you think. We're talking levels of magnitude more. If you're curious how much, I'll break it down at the end of this video. While we're talking about video, that's a great example of something that we grossly underestimate the amount of work and detail that goes into it. I didn't realize this until I started trying to seriously step up my own production value. Ever wonder why a movie looks so much better than something you shot on your cell phone? The camera quality is only a very small part of it. Modern day cell phone cameras are actually pretty good. You probably didn't even realize I shot the last part of this video on my cell phone. What actually makes all the difference is all the little details. For example, just lighting a set for one scene of a movie can take over 2 hours. Lighting is super important. Then there's the type of lens you use, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, white balance, etc. And the next time you watch a movie, pay careful attention to all the different camera angles in just one scene. Let's not forget editing, color correction, and probably the most unnoticed but most important parts of any movie, sound design. That's the music and sound effects you hear but probably don't notice when you watch a movie. It's a lot. We didn't even talk about sets, costumes, the complexity of trying to secure a location, or the script itself.
Here's another example, cooking or baking. Again, seems pretty simple, right? Just get the ingredients and follow directions. And yes, at an amateur level, it can be that simple. But to create a true culinary masterpiece requires a ridiculous amount of knowledge, experience, and preparation. Ever seen a recipe on Pinterest and thought you could recreate it? Better yet, ever watched the show Nailed It? Yeah. It's not so easy. For most things we do in life, we narrowly scratch the surface of what is possible. We usually go as deep as Kraft mac and cheese. We usually don't come close to producing the beef Wellingtons we're capable of creating.
For most things, the true depth of mastery is way deeper than we could ever imagine. I used to play poker semi-professionally. At my peak, I would play 14 hours a day, playing 8 poker tables at once. To most people, poker seems like a pretty simple game. In Texas Hold'em, you're only dealt 2 cards. That's it. 3 community cards are placed in the middle, and the best 5-hand card wins. The only thing you can do each turn is either fold, check, or bet. But there are volumes of books written about poker strategy. An amateur just plays the cards he's holding. A pro takes into account the position, the size of his stack in relation to the other players at the table, the mathematical odds of winning in relation to the amount likely to be won, the previous player's actions, what other players are likely holding, and many other factors into account. I can immediately tell when I'm talking to an experienced player just by how they describe the hand. So what does it take to actually succeed? Here are a few more familiar examples.
Want to run a marathon? On average, it takes 16 weeks of training. And over that course of training, you'll likely run at least 500 miles.
How about learning to code? 700 to 3,500 hours is the average. Public speaking, if you're talking TED Talks level, approximately 100 hours for one keynote speech, not to mention rehearsing up to 50 times before presenting. Doing something at a mediocre level is easy. Doing it at a professional level is way harder than it looks.
Kobe Bryant was a basketball legend. His career average was 25 points per game. On January 22nd, 2006, he scored 81 points in a single game, the second highest point total in NBA history. According to his coach, Tim Grover, in his book Relentless, Kobe would often make 800 shots during practice sessions before the team's actual practice would begin. He consistently woke up at 4 a.m. every morning to start his training. The Beatles performed over 1,200 times at various clubs in Hamburg, Germany in a 2-year time span between 1960 and 1962, often playing for more than 8 hours per day. Michael Phelps trained for about 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. At the peak of his career, he swam around 50 miles per week.
Oh, and I promised I'd tell you about Dyson, right? Well, he created 5,127 prototypes over 15 years before successfully inventing the first bagless vacuum. Sylvester Stallone, he got turned down by 1,500 agents. J.K. Rowling had the Harry Potter manuscript rejected 12 times before finally getting it published. And Colonel Sanders, well, he took his chicken recipe to 1,009 chicken stores before someone agreed to do business with him.
I could go on, but you get the point. The question I have for you now is how many tries and how much effort did you put into your dream before you gave up?
901 Shelby Drive, look alive, look alive.
Now I know what you're likely thinking. Geez, John, that sounds like a lot of work. Is all that really necessary? I don't want to be in the NBA. The problem is that rewards are not equally distributed. The reward curve for achievement in the most important things in life is not linear, but is instead exponential. This means that a disproportionate amount of the prizes go to the upper 10 to 20% in just about any significant undertaking. This is an example of Pareto's principle, or the 80-20 rule, which basically states in most things there's a distribution where, for example, 20% of the work gets 80% of the results. 20% of the people hold 80% of the wealth in the world. With the superconnectedness of the world allowing for very fast feedback cycles, this principle can be even more exaggerated. For example, 99% of all sales on Amazon are from the top 1% of authors. The reality is that the world we live in is very much a winners takes all situation for just about all areas of life. Think about real estate agents, athletes, actors, musicians, and definitely YouTube. In all of those competitive spaces, there's a massively unequal distribution of the results. The top 1% in all of these areas get paid a lot more money than the bottom 99% combined. This doesn't mean you have to be the best in the world at anything you decide to pursue, but you better be at least in the top 10% if you want to have any meaningful results.
They won't be expecting shit when Capo go to slide, cause I told them that we put that shit behind us, but I lied.
Because I care about you guys, I want to paint a very real picture of the reality of the world and what it actually takes to succeed. Showing up and trying is not enough. You need to meticulously decide the outcome you're looking for and correctly calculate the amount of effort required. Then you have to singularly focus on that desired outcome until you achieve it. Let's break that down next. Real quick, before we continue the video, I want to tell you about the Well That Never Runs Dry financial freedom program that I've put together to give you step-by-step guidance on how to become financially free by building a business and investing in real estate. You might not know this about me, but I was actually able to quit my day job and completely retire at 33 years old based on the passive income I was making from my real estate investments. Right now, I generate over $15,000 a month in passive income without doing anything at all. Now, I get to do exactly what I want to do. Instead of being forced to work for the man, I choose to work for myself, and I have complete freedom in my life to do whatever I want to do. In the Well That Never Runs Dry, I'll show you you exactly how to set up your own well of passive income that you can tap into every single month by following my step-by-step process for building a business and generating completely passive income from real estate. When you join the program, you'll meet with me personally each week on our group coaching calls, and I'll personally be coaching you to reach your financial goals and answering any questions you have. You'll also get access to my entire business building program and real estate investing program, no experience required. I teach you everything from the ground up. As an added bonus, if you click the link below from this video and book a call with a member of my team, I'm going to give you lifetime access to the platinum level of Bulldog Mindset membership, which contains over 140 lessons on everything from wealth, dating, fitness, mindset, and more, as well as access to monthly calls where you can ask me anything you want. Click the link in the description below to apply. I can only take a limited number of people, so only apply if you're serious about transforming your life.
Now that I've shown you the sobering reality of what it takes to reach success, let's talk about how to get there. The first thing you need to do is set a very specific measurable goal. Don't just say you want to get in shape or make $1 million. Instead, clearly define not only what you want, but precisely the metric you will use to evaluate it. For example, I recently achieved a huge milestone when I had a YouTube video break 100,000 views in less than a week, but I didn't get there by accident. A few months ago, I had an aspiration of getting 100,000 views on a YouTube video. I call it an aspiration because it's not something I can directly control. I have a video talking all about my goal setting process called AGP, or Aspiration Goal Process, which I'll link at the end of this video. Anyway, in order to reach my aspiration of 100,000 views on a YouTube video within a week, I created a goal of creating 10 super high quality YouTube videos that I would script out, professionally shoot and edit, and iterate on to improve the quality of each successive video. That level of specificity allowed me to reach the aspiration after just 4 videos, where I had struggled to even get 5,000 views on a video for years before that. Now, Grant Cardone, in his book, The 10X Rule, says that once you have a specific goal in mind, multiply it by 10. He says it takes just as much work to make $1 million as it does to make $10 million, so you might as well aim for 10. Besides, if you miss a big goal, you'll still probably be far ahead of the smaller goal. Grant also suggests that not only should you multiply your goals by 10, but also your estimate of the work required to get there. He says you have to take 10x actions to get 10x results, and I agree. If you multiply this together, it means that you actually need to do about 100 times the work you probably originally planned to achieve your goal. At first, I was very skeptical of this advice, but it has proven to be true more times than I can count. So often in life, we grossly underestimate the time, work, and money required to bring a project to successful completion. All kinds of unknowns throw black swan events into our perfectly constructed timelines. One thing that helps me figure out just how much effort to estimate and to set a realistic goal that is completely in my control is to ask myself the question, how could I make it impossible to fail? Let's say you wanted to teach yourself to juggle. You probably have no idea how long it would take or how many tries it would take before you were able to juggle 3 balls. However, I can absolutely guarantee you that if you lock yourself in a room with 3 balls and throw the balls up in the air and attempt to juggle 1,000 times, before you're done, you'll have learned how to juggle. That's exactly the approach I took to creating a video with 100,000 views within the first 7 days. I planned to create a video that was so good that it should get 100,000 views. But instead of just creating one of them, I figured there was no way I could possibly fail if I created 10 super high quality videos that each should be able to garner that many views. I all but guaranteed my success if I just followed the plan. By the way, this is video number 8. The last thing you need in order to successfully achieve your goals is less. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. You need to do less. You need to do less things overall and go all in on the things you choose to do. This means ruthlessly cutting. If you're going to put in the 10x effort required to actually succeed at these 10x goals, you're going to have to focus. This means you are going to have to stop doing just about everything else. Instead of working on multiple goals at the same time, work on them sequentially. Have only one major goal at any given time. Anytime anyone asks you, what are you working on? There should only be one answer. Now, I know this is incredibly difficult advice to follow. Believe me, I fought this until the bitter end, but now that I've embraced this mentality, not only am I getting so much better results, but I'm also enjoying the process a whole lot more. Again, I'll link to a video on setting goals that explains this in much more detail at the end of this video. I told you that I would tell you exactly how I knew that this video was gonna have way more views than the average views for this channel. So first of all, thanks for sticking around, and please take a moment to hit the like button if you've received some value from this video so far. Can you guess what the answer is? It might help if I tell you about my old process of creating videos compared to the process that was used to create this video. I used to create videos for this channel by literally spending 30 minutes thinking of 3 video topics of the week and then turning on my camera and just talking about those 3 topics. Then I would send the videos to my editor and he'd edit them, make a thumbnail for them, and schedule them for release. My new process for creating videos is the following. First, I spend several hours thinking about an idea and researching potential ideas. I'm looking for a really good topic that I'm very interested in. Next, I'll come up with the working title for the video and thumbnail concept. After that, I'll spend the next hour or so researching the topic and taking notes. Then I'll create a full outline for the video. Next, I'll start writing the script. It usually takes 3 to 4 hours for the initial draft. Then I'll send the script for feedback. After that, I'll spend another 1 to 2 hours revising the script based on the feedback. Then I plan out all the locations and scenes I'm going to use for the script. After that, I hire a videographer and we spend a full day shooting the video. Next, I ship the video to my editor and he comes up with the first draft of the video. I do 3 or 4 revisions with him. Then I hire a thumbnail designer to help me design the final thumbnail while I'm coming up with title ideas. When it's a couple days out, I release a movie trailer we made for the video, and then finally schedule and release the video. That's how I can predict success, the massive amount of effort and care that goes into the finished product. Look, here's the raw, honest truth. Most people are mediocre and they get mediocre results. If you want true success, you have to be the best. Most people underestimate what it takes to succeed because it's harder than it looks and they don't have clear goals and outcomes and they think way too small. If you want to succeed, you need to set clear and specific goal that is within your direct control, cut everything else out and focus on that one goal until it's achieved. If you're still watching this video, I'm proud of you. You must truly want to do something great with your life and I believe you have what it takes. Oh yeah. And there is one other thing you need. You need a process. But you'll have to watch this video next if you want to find out exactly how to set your goals using the AGP framework. I promise you won't have to wake up at 4 a.m. unless you want to.